In light of that, for anyone to understand that the 7-year tribulation had fully come, the apostasia should have happened first, and then the Antichrist revealed. The departure should have happened first. Now, this is very important. Listen, taking into account the definite article before the apostasia and the departure to have happened first, there can be two possibilities. If departure means simply spatial departure, then that word means the departing of the church at the rapture. After that, the man of lawlessness will be revealed. How can we say that it is the rapture of the church meant by the word departure? Paul is using the definite article to draw their attention to point to a previous reference. Paul would be referring to our gathering to him, seen in verse 1, and our being caught up together with them in the clouds, seen in 1 Thessalonians chapter 4 verse 17. When Paul was using the words the departure, it was something that he and the Thessalonians understood and which they had actually discussed earlier. See in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 verse 5, he says, "Do you not remember that when I was still with you, I told you all these things?" So they understood his wording. If someone says the word should mean departing from the faith, keep in mind that it was already happening. The departing from the faith was already happening right from the first century itself. We see that in Acts chapter 20, 1 Timothy chapter 4, 2 Timothy 3, 2 Peter 2, in the book of Jude. And besides, the language of this passage demands a clear, marked out event, and the rapture of the church would fit that perfectly. Besides, how will the Thessalonians or Christians living in any time recognize the great departure from the faith from the departure from the faith that was happening right from the first century itself? How will people be able to distinguish that? Think for a moment. And just looking back to 1 Thessalonians, Paul never mentions that a great falling away from the faith will happen. Instead, he speaks a lot about the rapture using various terminologies. In 1 Thessalonians chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, chapter 5, we see that he explains the rapture using various words and terminologies. Perhaps he had used the word the departure in his conversations with them. Think, and now see this. Paul offered great hope to the Thessalonians in his first letter to them. And now is he offering doom and gloom in his second letter to them? Think.